Distraction doesn't just waste your time. It slowly kills your dreams. It's those small moments, those seemingly harmless checks of your phone, those quick peeks at email that snowball into years of untapped potential. Our biggest regrets in life aren't the things we tried and failed at. They're the dreams we never started, the businesses we never built, the lives we never created. Did you know that the average person spends 4 hours every single day jumping between tasks? That's not just 4 hours gone. That's 4 hours of your life energy scattered to the wind. Let that sink in for a second. What could you do with those 4 hours of pure, focused attention? Launch that side hustle, finally get that promotion, build that body you've always wanted? So then you might ask yourself, well, what's the best way to deal with all these distractions? And you might say, well, it's just how the world works now. But here's the truth. Life will always be full of distractions. The question is, are you going to let them control your future? Or are you going to take back control starting today? Today, we're not just talking about focus, we're tackling it head on. I'm going to walk you through simple, proven strategies that transform me from scattered and overwhelmed to laser-focused and in control. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the end because I've got a bonus strategy that's an absolute game changer. One that top performers use to get more done in 4 hours than most people do in a week. Let's start with something we've all experienced: staring at your screen, knowing you need to get something important done. But somehow, hours slip by and nothing happens. Why? Focus doesn't just disappear randomly, it gets stolen. Stolen by specific habits, patterns, and mental traps we built for ourselves. Have you ever caught yourself checking email first thing in the morning, telling yourself you're being productive? I know I have. I used to pride myself on being on top of things. But here's what I learned the hard way. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Responding to everyone else's needs isn't the same as moving forward with your own goals. Here's the truth about focus that nobody talks about. Your brain can only handle so much input. Every notification, every task switch, every quick check of social media, they're all taking small bites out of your mental energy. Think about it. Have you ever felt exhausted after a day of work but couldn't point to anything significant you actually accomplished? Strategy number 1 is what I call the Power Hour Protocol. Here's how it works. For 1 hour each morning, you do the most important thing first. Not emails, not meetings, not social media. The one thing that will actually move your life forward. I know what you're thinking. 1 hour doesn't sound like much. But let me tell you something. 1 focused hour is worth more than 8 scattered ones. Let me share a personal story that changed everything for me. 2 years ago, I was drowning. Multiple projects, endless notifications, constant urgent requests. I was working 12-hour days but barely moving forward. Then I hit a breaking point. I realized something had to change. That's when I discovered strategy number 2. The Focus Fortress. Here's how it works. You create untouchable time blocks in your day. Think of them like meetings with yourself. Would you check your phone during an important meeting with your boss? Would you quickly scroll Instagram? Of course not. So why do you do it during your most important work? Now, you might be thinking, that sounds great, but I've got real responsibilities. People need me. Emails need answers. I get it. But let me ask you something. What's the cost of always being available? What dreams are you sacrificing on the altar of constant accessibility? Strategy number 3 is something I call momentum mapping. Think about a rocket ship for a second. Did you know that 80% of its fuel is used in the first few minutes of launch? Just to break free from Earth's gravity, your focus works the same way. The hardest part isn't staying focused, it's breaking free from distractions in the first place. Here's what you do. Map out your first 90 minutes of the day. Every single detail, from the moment you wake up until you start your deep work. Most people leave this to chance. They wake up and immediately start reacting to notifications, to emails, to other people's priorities. But not you. Not anymore. Strategy number 4 is the energy alignment method. But wait, before you think this is some productivity guru nonsense, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some days you can work for hours and feel great, while other days you can barely focus for 10 minutes? Why is that? Here's what nobody tells you about productivity. Timing is everything. Your brain has natural peaks and valleys of energy throughout the day. Most people ignore these rhythms. They try to fight against their biology. But the real secret? Work with your natural energy, not against it. For me, my peak hours are 6 to 9 a.m. That's when my mind is sharpest. That's when I can solve problems that would take me 3 times as long in the afternoon. When did I discover this? When I finally started paying attention to my energy instead of just my time. Strategy number 5 is what I call the focus flywheel. Think about riding a bike. The hardest part is getting started, right? But once you're moving, it gets easier to keep going. Your focus works exactly the same way. The key isn't having more willpower. It's creating momentum. Start small. Ridiculously small. I'm talking about 25 minutes of pure focus. No phone, no email, no distractions. Just you and your most important work. Can you give yourself that gift? 25 minutes of solid focus. Now, here's that bonus strategy I promised you. Something that changed my entire approach to productivity. I call it reverse engineering results. Instead of starting with tasks, start with outcomes. What actually matters? What moves the needle in your life, in your career? Most people spend their days doing what I call busy work disguised as productivity. They confuse motion with progress. They mistake activity for achievement. But not you, not after today. Look, you have a choice to make right now. You can close this video and go back to the same patterns that have been holding you back. Back to reacting to life instead of creating it. Or you can take one of these strategies, just one, and implement it today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Think about where you want to be 6 months from now. What would it feel like to have complete control over your focus, to get more done in less time, to finally make progress on what matters most? Here's what I want you to do right now. Pick one strategy, just one. Maybe it's the Power Hour protocol. Maybe it's the Focus Fortress. Whatever resonates with you most. Commit to it for just 1 week, 7 days, that's it. What's the worst that could happen? You spend 1 week being more focused, but what's the best that could happen? You finally break free from the distraction trap. You finally start moving toward your real goals. You finally become the person you know you can be. Drop a comment below with which strategy you're going to implement first. I bet you'll find other people fighting the same battle. And if you know someone who's struggling with focus and productivity, share this with them. Sometimes, one conversation, one new perspective can change everything. Your focus determines your reality. Let's make it count. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away. Let's get after it.